what Kelsey Mitchell is doing. For years, she's been the unsung hero of Indiana, loyal through the losing seasons, resilient through every rebuild, and patient when the spotlight belonged to others. But even loyalty has limits, especially when silence begins to feel louder than support. Her cryptic message wasn't just a random post. It was a carefully worded declaration of exhaustion, a coded goodbye from a player who has given everything, only to realize that her presence was becoming overshadowed by the franchise's next chapter. Behind every athlete's social media statement, there's always a human story, a buildup of emotions that can't be fully expressed through press conferences or highlight reels. For Mitchell, those few sentences carried years of sacrifice, frustration, and realization. She wasn't calling out anyone directly, but her words peeled back the curtain on a team standing at a dangerous crossroads. It wasn't just about her playing time or future contract, it was about feeling seen, valued, and respected. Because when you've carried a franchise through its darkest years, being reduced to a supporting role can sting deeper than any loss on the court, and that's the story so many fans missed in the chaos that followed. While social media argued over whether she was jealous of Caitlin Clark or simply emotional, those who truly knew Kelsey saw it differently. This wasn't bitterness, it was clarity. She had proven she could lead, proven she could win, and proven she could carry a team through adversity. What she hadn't been given, perhaps, was the reassurance that all that sacrifice still mattered now that the franchise had found its golden ticket in Clark. Fame changes everything, especially in a league where visibility is power, and Kelsey understood that more than anyone, Amber Cox's press appearances did little to mend the perception. Her control the controllables line became the franchise's shield, a safe corporate response that said everything by saying nothing at all. It's the kind of phrase executives use when they're still figuring out the truth themselves. To fans, it felt disconnected, a sterile attempt to control a story that had already spiraled beyond the front office's grasp. If anything, it confirmed that something inside the Fever was quietly unraveling. And in that silence, people began to wonder whether this was the start of another rebuild before the current one had even taken shape. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's handling of the situation was as professional as it was revealing. Her words about Kelsey were respectful, even heartfelt, but careful. She spoke of admiration and gratitude, but never commitment to the future. Some saw it as maturity, others saw it as detachment. Either way, it painted a picture of two stars heading in opposite directions, one ascending into superstardom and one realizing her story with the team might be reaching its final page. And somewhere between those two arcs lay the fragile identity of the Indiana Fever, struggling to decide who they really wanted to be. Because this isn't just about Kelsey Mitchell's next move. It's about what her departure or even her silence represents. The Fever have built their recent identity around youth, optimism, and potential. But potential doesn't mean much when the foundation starts to crack. Mitchell's quiet strength had been that foundation for years. She wasn't loud, she wasn't controversial, and she wasn't flashy, but she was dependable. She embodied the grind long before the cameras arrived. And for a league that's finally learning how to balance entertainment with authenticity, losing someone like her isn't just a personnel change, it's a warning about what happens when fame outpaces chemistry. Now, as the offseason unfolds, the Fever face decisions that go far beyond roster management. Every meeting, every negotiation, every post from their social media team carries the weight of perception. The WNBA isn't just a sports league anymore, it's a media ecosystem where image is as valuable as performance. And if Indiana mishandles this moment, they risk being remembered not for their rise, but for the fractures that formed during it. Kelsey's possible exit will become more than a transaction. It'll become a symbol of what happens when loyalty collides with progress. Still, somewhere in all this tension lies the bittersweet truth of sports evolution. Every era has its transitions. Every dynasty begins with both a rise and a loss. Kelsey Mitchell may not be there to see the Fever reach their peak, but her fingerprints will remain all over the foundation that got them there. She turned adversity into momentum, silence into leadership, and frustration into fuel. And whether she wears Indiana's jersey next season or not, she's already proven what kind of player and person she is. If she stays, the Fever might rediscover the unity that made them resilient in the first place. If she leaves, the league will gain a veteran star ready to remind everyone that her story isn't over. It's just moving to a new chapter. Either way, one thing is certain. Her words, her play, and her silence have already changed the trajectory of the team she helped build. So now, all that's left is the waiting game. Will Kelsey Mitchell remain the quiet heart of the Indiana Fever, or will she take her fire elsewhere and rebuild her legacy on her own terms? Will the Fever learn from this fracture or let it define them for years to come? The answers are coming soon, and whatever happens next will shape not just one team, but the entire narrative of the WNBA's new era. What do you think? Is Kelsey Mitchell ready to walk away from the team she helped save, or will Indiana find a way to keep their core intact? Do you believe her post was a farewell or a challenge to rebuild trust? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to keep following the twists and turns of this dramatic WNBA offseason, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what happens next in the Fever's unfolding saga.